Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the 3-game NBA preseason slate on Saturday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports daily fantasy sports sites. Guys, I want to thank you guys. The support, especially on the live stream yesterday, was phenomenal. We had almost 900 concurrent viewers. There's a bunch of super chats, so I just cannot thank you guys enough. You guys made my night. Thank you. If you guys do enjoy all this content, would appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when to upload videos, you know when I go live. I'll be live streaming for this 3-game NBA slate later today. Let's plan on 45 minutes. I know it's only 3 games, so let's do 45 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel to go over everything. Also, if you guys cannot watch these videos, I do upload an Apple Podcast. The link is in the description below to the DK DFS show. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we talk about players and their prices, we got to tilt a little bit about Friday's slate. And honestly, I just got to laugh it off at this point. Like, my luck these last 3 days has been the worst, the absolute worst. So first, I want to go over a couple of tweets, I guess. So the Bucks, there was no confirmation with minutes, and the beat writer had a gut feeling that the starters weren't going to play a lot. You know, the guys we talked about, right? The high-risk, high-reward guys like Middleton, Drew Holiday, right? He said his gut is the rest of the starters are going to play a little, and then the bench play quite a bit. So I was thinking about, I was like, man, like, if Middleton plays the second half, Drew Holiday plays, like, they're going to have like, one of them will crush. And Middleton was the one. He went for, I think, close to 40 fantasy points. Drew Holiday actually had a subpar game, and then this quote from the Thunder coach, who is already on our bad side after just a few games. The plan is to extend some starters into the third quarter. Can you just tell us who? Like, why would... So I read this, and I figure we have Horford in the starting lineup. We have George Hill in the starting lineup. Those are the 2 veterans. So I'm like, okay, those 2 are the ones that have to be rested, right? So what I do, I play it safe. After the last few slates, 3 slates ago, SGA not playing the second half when I had a good chance to win the slam if he does. 2 slates ago, had the cat foul trouble. You had Steph Curry playing the whole third quarter at a chalky ownership and pushing me out of the money and shooting 100% from 3. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play it safe. I don't want to get burned from coaches. So I take out my Bucks. I take out Horford, and what do you know? Everyone plays the second half when I play it safe. Middleton, he plays the second half, crushes. He's like 40% owned. Horford plays the second half, has a really solid game, finishes with like high 20s fantasy points. It's just, all I can do is laugh, really. Like, I can't, nothing more you can do. So let's go over my lineup, guys. So again, I told you guys I played it safe. So what I did was I took both Bucks out of my lineup, that being Drew and that being Middleton, and I took Al Horford out of my lineup. So got on to both Chicago guys, and I know that's suboptimal to play both, right? But the reason I did it was just because I was not taking like 15 minutes on Middleton. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with it anymore. And again, of course, everyone who I was worried about actually plays the second half when I play it safe. But we can go over my core, guys. The core was RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Zion, and Al Horford. Now, again, I told you guys why people were asking me about Horford. I was like, hey, it's risky. Like, I think there's a decent chance he doesn't play the second half based on what we saw. But of course he did. But yeah, core was really solid. Again, the reason I got onto both Chicago guards was I was just playing it safer, right? I just wanted the guaranteed minutes. Kobe White shot 1 of 10. Played 30 minutes. Shot 1 of 10. So sometimes it just goes like that. Again, I knew those Chicago guys were going to get good run, and there's a possibility based on the quotes that they might come back in the 4. So that's why I went with both of the Chicago guards. Ingram was a guy I did not want to play. He was like 60% owned. Picks up 3 fouls in the first half, so misses a good, 3 or 4 minutes. Starts the second half. I'm just like, I already know what's going to happen. I know. And what do you know? Picks up the fourth foul right away, right to the bench. He played 23 minutes, so missed a good 10 minutes of action. Again, I just dealt with this 2 nights ago with Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, really? Foul trouble in the preseason? And then, yeah, THT was a value guy I kind of got on because, again, I just didn't feel good about Portis. I didn't feel good about Horford and their minutes. I thought there's a chance that they wouldn't play. Now, with the Lakers, we didn't get any news. And LeBron and AD played like pretty normal minutes. Anthony Davis played 30 minutes. And then if you played the Nuggets, I feel for you too. Everything we saw, even like beat writers, I watched a video like, yeah, they're going to play it similar. Starters should get similar run as last game, and the starters did not play the second half. So you played Jokic, you played Jamal Murray. That's truly unfortunate. That's how it goes sometimes. But man, I feel for you. I know it's got to be tilting. And then to top it all off too, I get a low owned CJ McCollum, 10% owned CJ McCollum with no Damian Lillard, and he misses 12 shots. I think he shoots 8 of 20. So again, it's just one of those nights where it's just like, man, I play it safe, and of course, everyone I pivot off of, because I'm worried about the minutes, actually play the second half. The guys I get on, Ingram, foul trouble, actually fouls out, too, in the game. Kobe White shoots 1 of 10. CJ McCollum has a bad shooting night at low ownership. It is what it is, but again, we got a 3-game slate to finish out the preseason, and then we got the regular season starting up in a couple days. We also have NFL. We have 2 games today. A big slate, obviously, tomorrow, so lots to look forward to. It's just luck has not been on my side recently in the NBA preseason. But, yeah, let's talk about this 3-game slate again. Enough of rehashing last night. So we got Charlotte. We got Orlando. Let's take a look at the Charlotte side first. So we already have Gordon Hayward already confirmed out. So this is pretty big news. When Hayward's out, he's a high-usage guy in that offense. You know, last year it was the Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier show. Like, those were the guys that the offense ran through. When Hayward is out, they both had really, really good games. 18, 6, and 4 for Devontae Graham, 27 and 2 for Rozier. Now, both shot the ball really well, so probably can't expect like that level of production again. But yeah, they both got 28 minutes. That's key. Like 28 minutes is really good. Now, we have nothing confirmed, but I assume we're going to get similar minutes again for these Charlotte Hornets guys. So at the top, Graham's at 6'3", Rozier at 5'9". I think both firmly in play. Again, if they're going to get close to 30 minutes, I do have interest in both those guys. Definitely 2 of my favorite plays in the mid-range because, like I said, when Gordon Hayward is out of this lineup, this is where the offense runs to. It's these 2 guards. The other options, there's definitely some value here too. So Cody Zeller played 18 minutes. I think that's fine at, where's his price? 4.8, but I think I prefer some other centers in the slate. Like we have Vooch on the other side. We have Capella for a little bit more. Thomas Bryant played good minutes, so I'm probably not going to get to Cody Zeller. Cody Martin, I'll pass on too. He started. He's at mid 4.7. It's just a low usage guy in the offense. I would rather look elsewhere for value. PJ Washington was a letdown. I know some people went to him after his big game 2 games ago. At 5K, I think he's firmly in play too. The ownership will drop. Again, he got decent minutes, and he will play some small ball 5. Again, a terrible stat line for him, 5, 4, and 1. Normally, he's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, so a little bit more of an anomaly there for PJ Washington. I'm perfectly fine going back to the well there. And then LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, 5'3" and 5'5". So the Hornets guys actually look, it's 3-game slate, but like for mid-range, like these, like a lot of them look really solid. LaMelo Ball is going to shoot the ball a good amount when he's out there. He played 26 minutes, had 15, 5, and 2. You had Miles Bridges played 23 minutes, 14, 7, and 2, or 17, 4, and 2, I should say. So yeah, there's a good amount to like here with the price points, right? In the mid-range, this is where I'm looking. So like Graham, Rozier, Bridges, LaMelo Ball, PJ Washington. Below that, I don't think we have to do it. Like Cody Zeller probably gets close to 20 minutes, but I prefer other centers. Cody Martin probably starts again, but I don't think we have to do it. I think there's better value on the slate. So it's really these guys like that are priced in the mid-tier, like those 5 guys that I mentioned. I think all 5 look like pretty decent options here. On the Magic side, so Vucevic is probably the safest spend up on the slate at 8.5K, assuming nothing changes. Again, we haven't really got confirmation yet. It's early in the day. But Vucevic played 32 minutes, had 27, 12, and 1. The matchup, too. Like, the matchup's great against Zeller or Biyombo or Washington, whoever he's on. So Vucevic is going to be the absolute chalk this slate, but if he gets the similar minutes, I think you got to play him at 8.5K. Really, really like Vooch. Aaron Gordon at 6'4" is interesting. They've been limiting his minutes a bit. That last game, he played 23 minutes. Still had a nice stat line, though. 11, 9, and 2. I expect him to play the least of the starters, but still, like, he can go out there and crush in like 25 minutes. So I have interest in Aaron Gordon, but he is a little riskier at that price. And Markelle Fultz at 6K, I actually think is a pretty nice option in the mid-range too. He's been starting, playing over 30 minutes in back-to-back games. Played 31 minutes, had 14, 6, and 6. And there's no more DJ Augustine, so Markelle Fultz is a guy that I think looks like a pretty nice play here. So really, it's Vooch and Fultz for me that I like a good amount on the Magic side. Everyone else, there's not a ton I'm like really going out of my way to play. Like Terrence Ross played limited minutes off the bench at 5'4". He's scoring dependent. I'll pass. Only played 18 minutes. Cole Anthony and MCW are the value plays. I think that look intriguing. Anthony at 4'9", MCW at 4'3". Both going to come off the bench. Both played decent minutes, 20 minutes for both of them. I guess you can throw Fournier in there just because of the price, but I just hate playing Evan Fournier because another guy that has like a really low floor. Like he's someone like, same with Andrew Wiggins. I never play these guys, but like the price at 4.8K, like if he's going to get 30 minutes, I think he actually is a pretty decent value. It's just he does have a low floor like we saw last game. I wouldn't expect that bad of a performance from him. Again, he only had, 4 points, 2 boards, and 1 assist in 30 minutes. I expect a little bit better for Fournier. And yeah, 4.8, I'm kind of talking myself into it. It's just a price point thing. Like 4.8 is probably too cheap for a guy that's going to play 30 minutes. Again, he's a decent shooter, so he can get hot. So really, again, Vucevic at the top for me, one of my favorite plays. I like Fultz in the mid-range. Gordon is viable, but there's some risk involved because he'll be the one that probably gets limited the most. I think Fournier is in play. It's just a price point thing, right? 4.8K for guys probably going to get 30 minutes. That's just too cheap. Anthony, MCW, viable off the bench. I expect about 20-ish minutes from them. Let's talk about Detroit and Washington now. So this is probably my least favorite game to target. Let's start on the Pistons side. So Pistons have really, really been spreading out the minutes. Blake Griffin did play the most at 26, but he looked disinterested when he was out there. 2 points, 5 boards, 3 assists in 26 minutes for Blake Griffin. That is absolutely terrible. Would not expect that again. I think the ownership will kind of drop after that last game. You know, if we get mid to high 20s minutes again from Blake Griffin against Washington at 5'6", I think he's a pretty nice play in the mid-range. But definitely not a must play. Derrick Rose actually played more minutes than I expected. Off the bench, played 24 minutes. Again, he's a high usage guy when he's out there. He's going to be aggressive from the offensive end. So if we're going to get similar minutes for these Detroit guys, again, like mid-20s from Rose, mid-20s from Griffin, I actually think they're firmly in play at 5'6" and 5'7" respectively. The other options in Detroit, this is where it's like you can take some shots here, but the minutes did not look good. Like, again, the newcomers are just not doing great. Jeremy Grant, 22 minutes. Mason Plumlee, 20 minutes. Killian Hayes only played 19. DeLon Wright only played 19. They really spread out the minutes. Josh Jackson had a nice day, 17, 7, and 2 in 24 minutes, but probably can't expect that level of production again. I will always mention Jahlil Okafor. Like, he's probably the guy just because I feel pretty comfortable with his minutes. He's a good offensive player, had 8, 1, and 8 in 23 minutes. I think he's definitely in play for value, but again, center is pretty loaded with Vooch, with Capella, with Jonas Valanciunas. We'll talk about Thomas Bryant, the opposite side. So really, Detroit's a team, kind of besides the two guys at the top, I don't have a ton of interest. Let's move on to the Washington Wizards. So another team that I'm kind of off. Starters. Well, Beal played limited minutes, 16 minutes. Westbrook's going to play 2 and Bertans, but expected to be limited. So it just kind of affects everyone. Like when Westbrook, Beal, Bertans are out there, it just really affects all like the value guys. Again, Rui's out, but that doesn't do a ton for me. So, you know, at the moment, I'm staying away from the top guys unless we get confirmation they're going to play a lot more minutes. So Westbrook, Beal, Bertans are kind of stayaways to me at the top. Thomas Bryant's the guy for me at 6'2". It was just a minute thing for him, right? So he played 29 minutes. We know, like, if you followed NBA DFS last couple of years, Thomas Bryant's a good point per minute guy. So if we're going to get close to 30 minutes from Thomas Bryant, I actually think he's a really nice play in the mid-range. So, and the matchup, too, against, like, Plumlee or Okafor is a good matchup when he's out there. I do like Thomas Bryant at 6'2". He's probably my favorite play in the Washington Wizards. Below that, yes, like Troy Brown Jr. off the bench, Ish Smith off the bench. It just hurts when Beal and Westbrook and Bertans are playing. So I'm not really looking to either of them. I think, a guy like Denny, the rookie at 4'7", is probably where I'd look for value. He did play 32 minutes. Now, again, we have Bertans back. Westbrook's playing, so I don't think he'll play 32. But he's a rookie. Again, they want to see what they got out of him. So I would assume he would probably get mid to high 20s in minutes. I think he's a viable play for cheap at that price. Mo Wagner also intrigues me. He is power forward eligible too. I don't think he was in previous slates, which is good because, again, center is pretty loaded. So you can play a value guy like Mo Wagner. Now, he started and played 26 minutes. Would not expect that again, but I kind of like that he's going to come off the bench, most likely. Right? I assume Bertans is going to start. Obviously, Westbrook, Beal. We'll see what I think Thomas Bryant and then Bonga I assume they probably start. But, yeah, a guy like Mo Wagner, I think he comes off the bench. Don't think he plays 26 minutes, but I would think, maybe 15 to 20. And, again, he's a good point per minute guy. At 4.1K, he is someone I'm looking to for value. But that really wraps up for me. For Washington. So, yeah, the top guys at the moment don't have a ton of interest. I do like Thomas Bryant a good amount in the mid-range. Troy Brown, Ish Smith, I just not as excited about them. The rookie Denny, I think, is viable 4.7. And then you can take a dart throw on a guy like Mo Wagner, who I think can get it done in like 15 to 20 minutes. Let's finish it up with Atlanta and Memphis. So, at the moment, this is my favorite game to target. This is the game I want the most exposure to. Yeah, I like a lot in this game. Let's talk about Atlanta. So starters have been getting good minutes. 29 for John Collins, 29 for Hunter, 25 for Capella, 27 for Bogdan, 26 for Trae Young. I assume we get similar minutes unless we hear otherwise. But again, the matchup's really good here too. So I like all the guys. Like Trae Young at 8.1K, I think will still be popular, but maybe not as popular as he should be. He's had back-to-back pretty bad shooting days. Shot 4 of 15, still had 15, 6, 4, 1, and 1. So like, this is a guy that even when he's having a bad shooting day, he'll still have a decent fantasy outing. But when he's getting it going, that's when it's dangerous. When Trae Young gets hot, he can have an enormous game at 8.1K. I assume we get high 20s minutes. The matchup's great here against Memphis too. So I do really like Trae Young at 8.1K. One of my favorite spend ups. Also don't mind John Collins at 7.2. He has been solid. In 29 minutes, 10, 7, and 3. For me though, I would probably give the edge to Capella just because he's cheaper at 5.7, but John Collins still viable, and if for some reason Capella ends up missing, he's probable. But if they end up holding Capella out, then I would like John Collins a lot more. So Collins, I think, is a fine play. I think he is a way to get a little bit different, but I'm not really prioritizing him. Gallinari at 5.8, I'll say the same thing. Like, expect probably low 20s minutes from him. I think I would rather go elsewhere on this team. Deandre Hunter had a really nice shooting day. I think he had 22 real-life points, but that was about it. 1 rebound. Did play 29 minutes. He's okay, but I'd rather get to Bogdan for cheaper. Now, Bogdan had a slow start, was getting me worried a couple games ago, but kind of got there in garbage time. 5.2K, I think he's a pretty nice value. Again, he played 27 minutes. Again, he had a bad shooting day to start, but kind of got us there in garbage time. So I think Bogdan's a nice play, kind of as a cheaper option. We have Rondo out. Cam Reddish is probable. Cam Reddish himself is fine, but I think I would prefer Bogdan. I would prefer Capella at a similar price. Below that, I don't think we have to go anywhere. Like Herter will play decent minutes off the bench. What did he play last game? 18. I just don't know if we have to do it. So, again, Reddish is fine too, but really for me, it's the main guys for Atlanta. So, really like Trae Young at the top. I like Capella a good amount in the mid-range, assuming he plays. Bogdan as well, and then I think you can look to John Collins. But there are some other options too, like Hunter's not out of play, Reddish is not out of play, Gallinari's not out of play, but it's those main kind of 4 guys that I like a lot. And then let's finish up with Memphis. So Memphis, Ja Morant has just been absolutely on fire in this preseason. In 28 minutes last game, 18, 13, and 4. Jonas Valanciunas also played 28 minutes. Dylan Brooks was in some foul trouble, played 23, but he's been shooting it lights out too. Kyle Anderson had a decent game, but not really looking there. Really, it's the main guys for me for Memphis too. So it's Ja, it's Jonas Valanciunas. If you're going to make me pick, I'm going to go Ja, but I think you can play both. I expect similar minutes, again, unless we hear otherwise. So 28 for both of them in the last game in a really good matchup against Atlanta. Yeah, sign me up for some Ja Morant. Sign me up for some Jonas Valanciunas. I like both quite a bit. Again, with center, you have to make a tough call. You have 4 pretty good center plays. You have Vucevic. You have Thomas Bryant, you have Clint Capella, and you have Jonas Valanciunas. You can only play 2. Again, I like all 4 quite a bit. So build your, whatever works with your lineup, but I would try to get probably 2 of those centers into your lineup. Again, John Morant, love his upside. He's been shooting the ball amazing, getting a ton of assists. The ball is always in his hand, and the matchup's great. So really like Ja, really like Jonas Valanciunas, who had a double-double in 28 minutes. Dillon Brooks, I'm pumping the brakes a little bit. He's been shooting it lights out. He's a little bit scoring dependent. The floor is low with him if his shot is not falling. The price is coming up. I'm not saying he's out of play. If you think he continues to shoot this well, then go for it. Play Dillon Brooks. But I feel a little better about JV, a little better about John Morant, who just have a higher floor, right? JV's got the rebounds. John Morant's a guy that can get you a lot of assists if the shot's not falling. Dillon Brooks is pretty reliant on the scoring. So, he is not out of play. He's been shooting the ball really well. But just be warned, right? The floor is somewhat low on Dillon Brooks if his shot is not falling. Still no Triple J. Brandon Clark at 5'6", did play, 18 minutes. I think he's an okay value. Would have wished he was a little bit cheaper. Maybe the minutes go up a bit in this one. So I think he's a fine play in the mid-range, but I think I would rather get to those Charlotte guys in the mid-range. They're all priced in the 5 to 6K range. Kyle Anderson at 5'3", same thing. I think I would just rather get to the Charlotte guys in the mid-range than play Kyle Anderson. The guards, I'll say the same thing. Grayson Allen, Melton, Tyus Jones, Conchar, all these guys play 15 to 20 minutes. Usually one of them will have a good game, but trying to land on which one it's going to be is a little bit tricky. Grayson Allen played 23 minutes. Baines also in that consideration. He played 22. Melton played 19. Tyus Jones played 16. Did Conchar not play that last game? I don't think he did. Was he out? Where is... Because he was... maybe he just didn't play. Okay. Well, either way, again, I don't have a ton of interest in the Memphis Grizzlies guys, so really it's the guys at the top. It's JV, it's Ja. And again, this is my favorite game to target. I think this game has the most upside. So I'd probably rank the games if you were exposure. Atlanta, Memphis 1, Charlotte, Orlando 2, Detroit, Washington 3. But that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, we'd really appreciate it if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you know when go live. Again, I'll be live for this one. Do not miss the live stream. 45 minutes before lock to close out the preseason, guys. And then, again, regular season starting on Tuesday. So super, super excited for the NBA grind. But thanks again. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you all later in the live stream.